Oh,
Hello.
oh, hi. He's here. He's here.
Hey,
Hi.
Rasp.
Let the games begin. I'm
Uh,
Heidi.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, Madam Firefly in the house. Hey, I'm Stephanie.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Too.
And I'm Alex. Thank you so much. First off, I just want to say thank you. This is like the coolest opportunity. So, yeah, big fan, man. Chopping it up on Instagram. It's so cool to finally get it like face to face with you, man. Being a part of this is like so cool. Thank you. Very humbly, thank you.
Thank you. It's a massive honor to be part of this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so first off, I'd love to just do a little precursor. So Heidi is new and wants to get into DJing. She's
Okay.
been like a music lover her whole life.
Mhm.
And then so DJ Stephanie over here, she's been in it for about a year.
Yeah, about a year.
And
Oh,
super die hard. She's got the whole like passion for it. So and then I do music production. I've been doing it for a couple of years now. We've been following each other. So kind of a little bit of everything. So I was just kind of want to like leave the board open for Q and A's and anything as far back and forth. So we got a lot of questions and like all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna take a little step back for a second and let everyone kind of take the reins for a minute. I'm gonna bring some
oh.
coffee. 1 second.
All right, I'm gonna go first.
Okay, go for
I'm
it.
an Aries. I like to start it off. Okay. Yeah. So, being that, how did you get started into like doing what you do and so the best at it, really? Even AI knows you're the best at it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got into music by collecting records and cassettes as a young boy. And eventually I got a hi-fi system from my auntie that had a turntable and tape deck and radio all combined in this one unit. And what I used to do, I used to make mixtapes,
Oh,
like
yeah.
taking a record, putting a cassette in the deck, playing one song on the record, pausing uh, the tape deck, getting another record on, and then recording and repeating the process until I made a mix of like lots of different songs from lots of different albums. And I got into doing that, you know, at a young age. And then eventually I ended up buying some turntables, some belt drive turntables. Yeah,
What
and
age were you at
Yeah.
that? Sorry.
yeah, I wanted to be a DJ probably around about the age of 16, 17. I started being more aware of it. And by the time I was 18, I saved up enough money to get, some belt drive turntables, a mixer, and some headphones. And yeah, start my journey from then.
That's so cool.
Nice.
So cool.
So, I'm guessing you're like a Gen X or
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
a Gen X. I'm
Oh,
47
me
years of
too.
age.
Me too. I'm with you on that. Yeah. Industrial. That's right. Like, yeah, we're the crossovers. Like,
We are. We've come from analog and saw the digital age, evolve in that.
yeah.
I'm grateful to be 47.
Yeah. Nice.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm grateful to have like experienced, the analog world before, everything went completely digital.
So that was one of my questions too, was your take on the whole analog versus digital, endless controversy.
Yeah, I suppose we've grown up with it. So we saw the analog world, and then we've grown and evolved into the digital world, and it's just become part of our life. When it comes to DJing, I like both. I like the analog world. I like collecting records. I like buying records. I like, going to record shops and digging out, breaks and stuff like that, meeting people. But I also like the convenience of the digital world too. I don't just play records, I play CDJs, I use Serato, I use DVS system, you know. So yeah, there's cool stuff that we can do like this. We can stream, we can talk. I'm in the UK, you're in America, and we can have a conversation. So
So
technology is quite cool for that type
Yeah.
of thing. All this technology on the phone, um, it's really useful and it's really convenient, but sometimes it can be a bit too much and a bit overwhelming, um, especially the social media side of it. Um, yeah, that's another rabbit hole on it
Oh,
on its own. So
I feel like we're totally tracking you on that.
Mhm.
On that note, though, like I'm a hunter as well, a huntress, whatever. So
Yeah.
I just people ask me like, what kind of music do you like? And I know it's the most generic answer, but I just like the hunt. Like you're describing, just going to the store and like digging through everything. And I've done that my whole life, because when I was a kid, my parents were alcoholics, so it was like they're always getting drunk and playing music, and they're like, hey, can you pick out the next record? And that was
okay,
like the highlight of my childhood was like, going to the record collection that was like a wall of records and just
wow,
digging through them and learning about like Motown and psychedelic, everything, whatever, all kinds of music. So I still do that. And I don't really have a favorite because I like to ask people what they're listening to because I just want to learn. I always want to learn like new stuff.
yeah,
But so primarily my favorite in that regard is SoundCloud. I use SoundCloud. I saw you on there. I don't know if you use it that often, but I was wanting to pick your brain on, any online places for hunting out music like SoundCloud that you might use.
yeah. I use Bandcamp a
Oh
fair
yeah.
bit. Bandcamp is good. You're supporting the artist directly. Yeah, I found some good stuff. Sometimes I subscribe to Patreon and get like different like DJ mixes and DJ edits. That's a good place to look. And just you know speaking to people online and stuff. You can connect with people, and sometimes people will send you new music, which is really really good. And yeah, I still go to record shops. I'll never stop doing that. As long as there's
man.
record shops, I'll be in there getting my fingers dusty.
Yeah, yeah. He
Um,
says it with the whole wall behind him. Just like
I know.
it's legendary. Yeah.
yeah, I like collecting stuff. I'm a bit of a nerd as well. I like collecting, all kinds of stuff, comics, figures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, I just love it all.
right. Yeah. It's like I feel like I forgot who said it, but it was like if you collect records, you probably collect sneakers. I think it was maybe Jazzy Jeff, but he's like if you collect the sneakers, you probably have like the action figures to go with it, and it's just like yeah, it's a vibe for sure.
Definitely, definitely.
All right, I have a question as the newbie. What is the difference between, and this goes for you guys too, is like, what's the difference between a playlist and a DJ set list?
I suppose with a DJ set list, you've created that, list of music to work, on a mix or on the dance floor. So like you work out transitions and stuff, you know. Making a playlist, it doesn't, you're not necessarily doing it from a DJ mindset where you think, oh, every song got to mix into the next song or it got to transition. But they are kind of similar. You want both, DJ playlist and set list to work to tell a story, as it were,
Okay,
to take you on a journey. Well, that's the way I see it, anyway. So
right. So
yeah, but
one
I'd say,
song leads to the next song, kind of like in a story, like, way.
I think of it like mixing potions. Like you're a witch and you're in the kitchen, you got your cauldron, and you're just mixing things, right? And you're
Okay.
making something new out of it.
And what I've liked when I go is like the ride, right? It's like takes you on different like journeys,
yeah,
there's different feelings and sensations and different like bass, and then it switches and like is softer and like. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you say potions, I always think of it as like cooking with like ingredients, where it's like
Yeah.
don't over season it, but it's like you want it, and it's kind of the same idea that it was like a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Okay, and leading into my next question, which is like, then how do you read the crowd of what they want to hear or that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, how do you read the crowd?
yeah.
It depends on the gig. I do many different styles of gigs.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do like bar gigs where I'm playing for like 6, 7 hours at a time. And then sometimes I'll do specialist gigs where, I just turn up and do an hour set amongst a load of other DJs. Sometimes I'll do, like corporate functions or weddings and that type of thing. So every gig is different, but I think from experience you can catch a vibe what people are feeling, what type of audience you're playing to, what type of event it is, I played lots of different styles of music as well. So sometimes I'll get booked to just play, like a boom bap hip hop set or, like a drum and bass set. So, I'll make a DJ list or a DJ set, and yeah, I'll just go with the flow kind of thing. And I'll make the list like, quite long. I'll have like a lot of songs in that playlist, and I can go in different directions. Say the crowd is feeling more hype, I can like, ramp it up or whatever. Or if it's more of a mellow vibe, I can bring it down, or I can take them on a journey. So yeah, I do like to plan stuff, but I also can do stuff spontaneous and just read the crowd, read the room, and just play,
For
what.
sure. Okay, so to feed off of that, this is like one of those things. Do you do song requests?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's one of those like.
I see
Uh,
memes about that. So yeah.
Depending on the scenario. So if I'm at a corporate function or a wedding, yes, you have to leave the ego at the door and be basically a human jukebox.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if I'm playing like a hip hop show and there's loads of like rappers and other hip hop DJs and I'm booked to play hip hop and someone comes in with a request and says, "Can I play, I don't know, Rihanna or Justin Timberlake?" I'd be like, "No, I'm doing my thing."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a time
Okay.
and a place for it, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
sometimes, if I'm playing in a bar and I do a lot of open format DJing where I play, many genres, and the vibe might be R&B and at the moment what I'm playing, and hip hop and that type of thing, and then someone gives me a request and I think it might fit the style that I'm playing, and that in that moment of time, and if I've got the song, I'll try and squeeze it in there somewhere, But if they come with something ridiculous, say I'm playing, I don't know, some house stuff, some new disco house stuff, and then someone asks for, I don't know, Spice Girls or something like that. It's like, no, I ain't playing that. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
time
No.
and place.
No. Well, I'm.
That's a great answer though for it, because that's like always one of those like some no, some are hard yes and some are hard no. So that's really good advice though, is like kind of reading what the gig is. Like, yeah.
Is there like difference between like someone who does like a festival versus like wedding stuff? Is that like a different like? I'd like to do that. Like,
I think there's
Totally,
yeah. So it's like, do you
totally.
tailor what you're doing towards like what you want to do?
Yeah, I've played a few festivals. I'm not massive on the festival circuit, but I
No.
have played a few. In my career, I've done a fair few festivals, and you kind of get booked to do, I don't know, a certain type of music. Say like the stage is playing like, in the UK we have like a lot of bass music, so like dubstep, drum and bass, jungle, that type of thing. You make an hour set or a 45-minute set playing that type of thing. And yeah, you wouldn't really play a request at a festival. You just kind of do your thing. Maybe have a plan A and a plan B just in case your plan A playlist isn't going down well with the crowd, and then you can switch.
I gotcha.
You know, but I wouldn't necessarily play a request. If it was at a festival and I'm playing like, I don't know, drum and bass or jungle, and someone suggests a song and it's not fitting with it, I'd just rather do my thing in that scenario.
Very cool. Yeah.
So way back in the day, I used to mess around with like Fruity Loops and Ableton and do some like sound engineering, and I want to get back into that. But until then, as far as like
what did you use? What is Fruity Loops?
Just for making music.
Oh, okay.
Electronically.
Oh.
Electronic music.
Oh,
Computers.
all right,
Yeah.
got it.
But as far as like copyrights, for like messing with people's music, I was wondering like your thoughts on how much of that you might do, like enjoy just blending like creative like sound engineering into like pre-made music and then making mixes and remixing it.
I like to sample, and I don't really care about copyright. I just do it. You
Yeah.
know, music's there to be played about with, and yeah, if copyright is an issue with a song that you released, you're doing something good. You know,
Yeah.
if it's on the radar and people ask for rights, you're doing something good with your music.
Yeah,
It's getting to the right place. But no, I don't really care. I'll sample anything and I'll use it. And yeah, it's just a form of expression. And what I'll do, I'll take a sample of whatever record it may be or whatever sound, and then manipulate it and then make it my own thing. You know, express myself with it using either a sampler or the turntables. And yeah, just get busy and creative with it.
I was gonna ask what you use for that. Sorry. Do you use Bandcamp a lot?
To get the samples or to release my music?
For just more of the like make like altering the music and I don't know how to phrase
No,
it.
I use Ableton.
Okay, Ableton.
Okay.
For production. Yeah, I use Ableton. I have used other things. I used to use an MPC, an Akai MPC, which is like a sampler struck drum machine. I used to use one of them back in the days. I've used Pro Tools. I've used what else have I used? I've used Sony Acid. I've used different things, but right now I'm just using turntables and Ableton. That's all I use really, and a little MIDI controller as well.
Are you using the Ableton with Serato Splice, or I know they have like a bridge between those two softwares. Is that like your go-to?
Yeah,
Okay.
that just works well for me. It's just really easy workflow, and it's not too complicated because you can get really overwhelmed when it comes to production and using a lot of like plugins and different software and hardware.
Yeah, the rabbit hole goes. Yeah,
get really
glitched out with the possibilities. I was actually having this conversation with Stephanie where it's like once you get into like the STEM features and everything, it's like the creative like freedom. It can be like overwhelming because like how you're saying it's just down the rabbit hole of endless possibilities.